Well, hello there, and welcome to another edition of Warbird Wednesday. My name is Fred Bell. I am the Vice Chairman of the Palm Springs Air Museum, and I'm back from vacation. Greg got a vacation, I got a vacation, so I am back and trying to get in the swing of things. Now, one of the things we were doing was this whole Top Gun thing, and I thought we were done with it. But then one of our viewers said to me, what about the X-29, the Grumman, the X-29, which is a very exotic looking airplane we're going to talk about. I am going to say we're going to do some fan service today to the X-29, but I am going to go out and say, Greg, that although this was an amazing aircraft, it really didn't fit in that whole Top Gun thing very much, which you see with the Su-57s and all that. We're going to talk a little bit about it. Actually, Air Force, which tested this with NASA, kind of decided the same thing. We're going to talk about why. I am with my pettifogging assistant today, and what he did with me in this cap, I really have no idea. Although I'm maybe taxiing an airplane sense to another airplane, Greg. We're going to start another series right after this, which I think you're going to enjoy. But today we're going to talk about the Grumman, the X-29, this was never designed to be a fighter or production aircraft. It was strictly to test aerodynamic features on the airplane in a design sense. It was a test bed airplane. There were two of them built. They were flight tested from 1984 to 1991. Now, the interesting thing about this is this aircraft could get up to Mach 1.6. So if you want to make its argument, its claim to fame, is that with this kind of bizarre, I'll throw up a plan view of the airplane there, with this bizarre wing design, they could still get it to go pretty fast. Had a GE 404 afterburning engine in it. That's a familiar suspect. You know those from the Hornets and a number of other planes we've talked about. Now, the aircraft was chosen over a competing design from General Dynamics that used an F-16. But this is not a groundbreaking wing design. Now, Greg is going, how can that be? What are you thinking, Fred? I am not going off the reservation on this. This particular aircraft was tested or designed. This is a 33-degree sweep wing, right? Swept forward. There's another airplane with some familiar, real wacky designs. People that did wacky stuff 40 years earlier. Who were they? The Germans with the Ju-287. Now, the Russians captured the plans on the 287 and actually tested the OKB-1 EF-131. Have fun with that, Greg. They tested that, and that was forward sweeping. Now, the unique nature of this aircraft was the composite design and the use of both graphite and epoxy and various types of molded or composite materials in the wing because it twisted. Now, the thing I'm going to do, and it had its control surfaces in the front. You could see the canards would give you pitch. It also had smaller trim control elements on the back side of the wing, but this entire airframe would twist, which is a need of composite design. Now, Greg, I'm going to give you a challenge. If you can find an airflow model on this, what this did is it not only changed the way the wave drag, there were wave and trim drag, and I don't have a chalkboard here, so I'm going to let Greg Steven find a graphic on this, but it changed the wave and the trim drag components over the airplane. And that was its key thing. Now, one of the things about it was everybody thought with this design, and this was the question that we got on it, was that the aircraft could pitch and do some interesting things maneuvering with this.
The Grumman X-29 looks unusual. On closer examination, you notice that the wings are swept forward rather than backward. Compared to conventional rear-swept wings, forward-swept wings offer higher maneuverability and improved slow-speed handling.
That is actually far from the truth. They actually were very careful about how they flew the aircraft because they were worried about departure of flight. If it departed, they would not be able to recover it. Now, the design itself was an F5 nose, which you could see. It had F-16 flight controls. There were a lot of fiber composite components in the design and in the fuselage, and it had these graphite epoxy wings, which were really cool, and graphite epoxy components. That GE404 in the back. Now, and again, it had those really interesting canards in the front, but the difference was really the way that the forward wing would impact the drag and the airflow over the wing. And the idea was that theoretically the aircraft could pitch up and turn tighter. The reality was that it just didn't work that way. And the Air Force tested it and came up with a conclusion that they didn't feel that the airplane offered any. Now, this is interesting. You can argue with me in the comments, but the Air Force report on this plane says that it didn't offer any real significant maneuverability changes, even though it had this interesting design. So, and I actually, when we were going to do this, I went out and read the report, and I was a little surprised by that. So maybe there's somebody out there that knows more than I do, but that doesn't change the fact that whoever worked on this, and we're going to do the salute today. Whoever worked on the aircraft, this is a big departure. You want to talk about getting in an airplane and not knowing whether the front end's going to fall off or the wings are going to tear off or whatever. Because remember, this airplane started flying in 1984. We have a lot more computer control and stuff like that type of stuff today. So this was a huge departure at the time for NASA, DARPA, and Grumman. Now, I am going to do the salute today. Greg has chosen something apropos with Astropop soda. Astropop Passion Fruit. It's got a really interesting rocket green color, and it's made with real sugar. Now, no cane here. So the cane cartel people haven't gotten in it. 170 calories. This is a hitter. Does have mostly new verbiage on it, so this is probably not one that Greg has rescued from a shelf somewhere. We're going to go ahead. It had a fizz, which is positive. So if you were part of the X-29A program and you were at either DARPA or Grumman or all the folks that put this together, again, this is a very unique design. I salute you. You know what, Greg? It's cold, mid-range. It's not like awful, but it's not something I would drink. Obligatory second sip. But it's not like, oh my goodness, I have to throw it at you. I'm not going to do that. So, high hopes for this aircraft. What really came out of it was flight controls and the testing of the materials.
As soon as higher speeds are realized, the wingtips experience tremendous twisting loads, which flex the wings and can literally tear them off. The X-29's wing is crisscrossed with 750 composite tapes of such material as carbon, Kevlar, and glass. The materials are woven in a way to counteract the twisting forces encountered by the wing at transonic and subsonic speeds.
That was the real win, not any of this stuff that we saw in the Su-57 or, with a Top Gun where the airplane is biffing all over the place and doing all kinds. It did not have thrust vector technology in it. Now, it was designed not, or in the flight test, they made a conscious decision not to, what I would say, fly it aggressively. In other words, they got it up there. They wanted to get this wing up to Mach 1.6, which they did, the Mach 1.6. So they proved that they could cruise fast with this. They made a conclusion that if they had had stronger actuators on the wings to control the trim on the wings and on the front, if they had more aggressive actuators, that they might have been able to fly the airplane more aggressively. But the program ended in 1991, and honestly, the technology to drive these was not really there yet. We were just in the infancy of fly-by-wire. The aircraft is inherently unstable, which most modern-day fighters are. That's how they get them to do what they want them to do as far as these super turns, and they're all being flown by the computer, not the pilot. The pilot tells the airplane where to go. The computer puts in the inputs that kind of does that, but it's not like stick and rudder like we used to do in World War II. Now, with these thrust vectoring technology and that kind of stuff, I do not think you're going to see any more work in this area. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I think these kind of radical forward swept canard types designs are really kind of towards the end of the line. There's an argument, and I've said it before, that the last pilot has been born on the planet. In other words, that we'll go to completely robotic aircraft. There's a big argument there. That was one of the admirals in Top Gun that was trying to get rid of good old Maverick, was basically saying that there's a good chance. But this type of airplane was good for its time, but it is not, and we'll take the conclusion, and I'll take the heat in the comment section. This is not an airplane that would have had any impact on the performance of those fifth generation fighters in the Top Gun film. So we have ruled out that candidate. But if you have an idea for an airplane that you'd like us to review, shoot us an email or a comment. We'd be happy to do that. Now we're going to move on with Grumman product. We have brought in our new shirt that actually has the, what would you say that, Greg? An enhanced Grumman logo. It has an enhanced Grumman logo. Oshkosh is coming up. You can buy one of these and see if you can get somebody to buy it off your back at Oshkosh, which we've actually happened with this shirt before, because that Grumman logo is hard to get. Go out to the web store on the link and you can pick up one of these shirts and we'll gladly ship it to you. Also, we cannot do what we do. We're in the miles hangar. We're actually in the jet engine section, which is kind of cool. We can't do what we do without your donation. So click on that donation link, give us a donation. Now, if you like what you see, all we do is long form military aircraft videos. We've got a couple, about well over 100 of them up, and we're closed in. I wonder where Josh Gates is in all this. We haven't beaten up on Josh Gates, our little history cherub, in a while. You know, I miss him. And someday, Greg, we have to figure out how to get Josh Gates to do one of our. We got close one time. We got close. But if you like what you see, subscribe to the channel, give us a like. If you see us on Facebook, give us a like. My name is Fred Bell. I'm the Vice Chairman of the Palm Springs Air Museum. Thanks so much. Have a great day.